guys, I am out in my small garden and I came out here because I thought it'd be like this glorious thing. We got pounded with rain yesterday afternoon. We have been having some pretty hot days this week, up pushing 100 degrees. So like, I think yesterday was 98 degrees, 99. And then this massive rainstorm came in and it has knocked down a lot. And I think with the heat today, because today is also 97, 98, it'll pop a lot up, but a lot is down. And that's okay. It'll come up. So my carrots are, you can just see they're laying flat. I had this whole big patch. Some of my volunteer potatoes are down. A lot of my brassicas look fine. The sunflowers, if you guys haven't seen these in a bit, they're doing amazing. Lots of blooms, all sorts of flowers. Hello, morning, Sooks. I was going to come out here and harvest some calendula and chamomile. Calendula, chamomile, dill, just something odds and ends in this garden I knew needed to be harvested. But in reality, it's a wild mess because of all the rain. We're gonna have 2 more warm days. So today's gonna be like 97, 98. Tomorrow's gonna be 87. And then literally after that, today's like August, 16th, we drop down and it's 70s, 80s for till the 30th, it looks like, till September. So I'm like, is these 2 days our next hot days? And both days have a chance of rain. 20% chance, which is what we had yesterday, and that 20% came on in. it was a beautiful. But I had put this insect netting because my cabbages were getting ate, and you can still see the damage, but we got a head forming. And I've been pretty worried about the heat with my brassicas because that can really cause them to bolt. And we're already looking at a fall harvest with all of these. And I think that they're going to pull through. I think I got them through the heat of the last few weeks and it's going to do really well. And we'll get a nice fall harvest on all these brassicas. Because the little garden is a little wet and sloppy, I thought I'd bring you into my high tunnel. I don't know how to tell you this. This thing is a joke. I don't know how to show you this. It's so funny. I am in here. I'm just going to set the scene for you. I am in here the other day, and when planting this high tunnel, last year I planted a bunch that we had a big massive deer problem, which we've had a little deer problem this year, but it's not as big as last year's. So I planted a lot this year because I really wanted it to take off. I really wanted it to make sure I had a lot of plants. With that being said, this has been a really good year. I've learned a lot, and we're going to take what I've learned this year and reevaluate it by the end of the season and figure out a whole new path. But this is out of control, guys, and it's just a wild jungle, and that's where we're at with this high tunnel. So this guy is just growing. He's doing awesome. Okay, so you ready? Okay, here's the beast. And you're like, oh, it's okay. Maybe it's not like tall because I don't trellis my tomatoes and what have you. But I want, because of that, I've had consequences this year. But everything is just wild. I'm doing very well. And so far I've harvested a cucumber, which is awesome. It's my first cucumber. And a couple of squashes. So I had like 3 or 5 squashes I got the other day. It's hard to find anything in here. It's a beast, and I don't know what to do. So I don't know what to do. I've been weeding, I've been doing this. The real issue is I got a lot of weeds, but it's not really affecting the plants. It's just affecting my brain thoughts. This is the scene right here. This is a cucumber and a squash and a tree and tomatoes. Well, I think I wasn't planning on all these things germinating, like the cucumbers. So many germinated. I had to save my tomatoes. They were trellising on that. I should have trellised my cukes, but it's a little too late for that. Everything is a schmess. I've been trimming down my squash leaves because it's just a jungle and I don't know what to do. Like, look at the size of these two plants. I don't know what to do. And then back here, I have pumpkins and watermelons, and they're starting to climb up my cattle panel in the back. This is all new to me, guys. I tell you what, it's out of control. And I had purposely planted it over here so that it would take over this area because the sprinkler never got back here very much. And I was like, it can go and travel out and just be a wild jungle. But what I didn't take into factor is harvesting that wild jungle, which for pumpkins, it's fine. I can just let them go until the vine is ripening. But the watermelons back there are getting pretty good. And I gotta find a way to get out back there. I was telling one of members of my family yesterday at a birthday party, and I was just telling her, I am just overwhelmed with this jungle. All of a sudden it just exploded into this jungle and I am perplexed on what to do. And everything that worked out last year with not trellising my tomatoes, none of my squashes germinated, I had like one cucumber plant that didn't produce. Like, none of these things were abundant. And this year I'm dealing with the burden of abundance and it is overwhelming. And I don't ever want to be like, oh, too much, because I wanted this and I've dreamt about this high tunnel. And obviously this is not what I imagined it would look like. I imagined clean lines. I love clean lines in gardens. I love the whimsiness of it all, but I also love rows and organization, and this high tunnel is none of that. It's crazy. And I don't know what to do besides just fully embrace the wild and just have at it. So that's what I'm going to do this morning. I have to harvest because I see a bunch of squashes that are crazy. And I wanted to check on my tomatoes and see how big they are. My beans are just in full bloom. My cucumbers are out of control. I ate my first cucumber that I've ever grown, and that was life-changing. I don't know if it just was the best cucumber I've ever tasted in my life. And it's probably just because of the work that I've put into growing it, but also it was really good. So who can really say? So I'm going to plop my hair up and I got to get into these bushes, and I don't have a tripod with you, so I'll just see how I can film. Yeah, we got a lot of squash that needs to be harvested. I am having an issue with some squash, and I think it could be a calcium. It's like blossom end rot. Let's see. I've been pulling them off. Oh my gosh. This guy doesn't have it. No, it doesn't. I've been pulling them off and just throwing them on the ground to compost. These massive leaves are taking over my tomatoes. I can't have that. I'm not the type of gal that would come in here and just munch on some ripe tomatoes. I like them in things. I am trying to work myself up to that because I used to, as a child, love tomatoes, but I've lost that and I want that back, where I would just come in and eat a tomato like an apple. I love all tomato things. Tomatoes, a good tomato sauce, fresh. I love tomatoes cut up in my salad. I love tomatoes on my sandwiches. Just eating them. I have had a few cherries that have been pretty good. But as far as just like coming out and eating a bunch, I prefer to process them and do something with them. But tomatoes are far more valuable than squash plants with leaves, which they're taking over my tomatoes. Okay, let's go down here. Need to get my yellow squash. I don't even know what this is back here, what plants. I know I was just completely willy-nilly. I'm pretty sure it's a pumpkin of some sort that I grew. It could be, that's what it probably is. It's probably a sugar pie pumpkin. I see watermelon going up and some baby watermelons. I don't know how long this is also going to last with this cold weather coming in. Doesn't look like we get into freezing nights, but that is always a major risk when we drop down. And for that many days, if we're dropping down, I'm fine with cooler weather as long as we don't freeze. Everything will last a while in here, but there comes a point where even the high tunnel walls can't protect it from the cold. We got some San Marzanos in here. They're just little. They're just small, which is fine. They're gonna get there. I keep looking back on my videos from last year and a lot of my tomatoes didn't get ripe till I had my first tomato August 15th, which did happen. And I didn't see any of that tomato yet. Got a cucumber. It's a little big. I don't even know if it's gonna be any good. We'll take it in, try it out. Nothing will go to waste. I wanted to show you my peppers because that's one of the things that the deer got. And I was really sad about them. I've never gotten so many peppers. Even my cayennes are doing good. All my pepper plants have a bunch of peppers on them, which I'm pretty excited about. They're doing quite well. I'm just surprised we're getting anything with the deer damage that we had. One of these vines back here that I thought was a pumpkin is actually a tromboncino. And there's a million of them. So that is not a pumpkin. But I'm hoping some of these are sugar baby pie pumpkins. Harvest is just now coming in. Obviously we haven't got our first tomato yet. We got our first cukes just this week and our first squashes. So there's so much to still come, and we're not even close to peak harvest, but the plants are producing, they're ripening, and that's a good place to be right about now. So Lord willing and the creek don't rise, we're gonna get pounded with harvest, so much that I don't even know what I'm gonna do with it all. That's a good burden to have, I suppose. But a couple things that I would just like to get out of this garden for myself and for my boys is that sugar baby watermelons, which we definitely have 2, and I see a billion more, but they're little. So we have 2 good sized ones almost ready. And then I personally would love to have some sugar baby pumpkins to make some pie from that I grew myself. And we grow quicker varieties because we have a short season and we have frost in summer. So yeah, we want it to be quick. I'm gonna head in and get, my boys are probably up by now. We'll see. They've been sleeping in this summer, it feels. Hopefully my children are awake at this time. It's gonna be a scorcher today, but we're gonna take all the heat we can for the next few days and just hopefully it'll help get things way bigger and way more mature. So thank you guys for following along with me, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye guys.